evening, Los Angeles, and welcome everyone tuning in around the world. We are live from the shrine here in the heart of the city for a truly historic moment on the global sports calendar, and introducing a new chapter to the fencing world as we debut the World Fencing League. Yes, make some noise! For the first time ever, the world's best fencers will take this stage, not just to compete, but to show their unrivaled skill, as well as the advanced technology happening right now in this sport. The arena is ready? Yes, the fencers are ready. You at home around the world are ready. The stage is set. It is time for a special night of fencing. And I'm not alone tonight. Joining me here on the stage at the shrine is LA's finest, the one and only Kirsten.
Miles Chanley Watson, the Olympic bronze medalist, he was sensing that the sport needed an upgrade, and tonight he gets that dream to become a reality. We are going to have a legendary, historic night in store for you here in downtown Los Angeles at the Shrine Auditorium. Alongside the former men's foilist, the NCAA first-team All-American 4 times, David Willett, I'm Brian Fenley. Here we go. The top 12, you could say the top 12 fencers, some of them Olympic level in the world, about to battle it out. 12 of them split into 2 teams, team format as well. Vying for $100,000, we've got all 3 disciplines, and there's some fascinating new rules added as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've got such an exciting night for you. I mean, literally we've assembled 12 of the absolute best fencers that you can bring together. Everyone is world class. I mean, we have several that are literally #1 in the world, and everyone is right there, up there, right? So we're going to deliver an amazing show, and like you said, we have some exciting rule changes. We have some exciting new technology to showcase. There's going to be a lot of, excitement coming to this show that, I think it's an exciting sport all the time, but we have some extra special items to add to the sport now to make it just a bit more entertaining for all those that maybe aren't as familiar with the sport.
Can we start talking about that, the blade tracing technology that is going to be in store here? And you think about this sport. There are many that love this sport. They know everything about it, but there is an ability here to open this up to the mainstream.
Yes.
And with this blade tracking technology, how does that enrich the viewing experience of folks who are just trying to figure out what this sport is all about? And the fact is, they're going to like it.
Yeah. There's just such a crazy amount of athleticism and skill that goes into this sport. And it's just so hard to see to the naked eye. For those that don't know, the tip of a blade in fencing is actually the second fastest moving object in all of Olympic sports, second only to a bullet, right? So imagine how hard that is to just trace with the naked eye. So having this technology is actually going to, in addition to slowing it down, really help the viewer see what's actually happening with the tip.
Each bout, they're going to have 6 different bouts. Each will be worth a point. The team with the most points after the 6 bouts will be the winner. If we need a tiebreaker, we'll get into that later on. As far as a golden point, that will be played, but $100,000 is at stake. So much to get to, and with that, let's get it down to the stage. And we are going to be joining in just a moment for our team introductions, Sibley. But this is one of those things where you allow the sport, with how rich it is in history,
Yep.
to be able to have an opportunity to try something new. Centuries old, the sport, but to try something new, the ripple effects that this might have into the future.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I think, like every sport, when you're it's really hard to disrupt, the status quo or affect things too much. But this is an opportunity to try new things, and we're all really excited for it.
That we are, and we are very excited to get to meet our competitors as we are going to be heading down now for the team introductions. I teased it earlier. Here it comes. Sibley is with you.
Led by team captain in the women's foil from the United States of America, Lee Kiefer. Next up in men's epee is Giergej Shiklowski. in the women's epee. Representing Team Blade in the men's saber is Oh Sang-uk of South Korea.
Big cheer for him.
Next up, it's Maya Chamberlain from the United States of America competing in the women's saber. And finally, in the men's foil from the United States of America, it's Miles Chomley Watson. And now, it's time to welcome their opponents from Team Shield. First up in the women's foil from Italy, it is Ariana Arrigo. Next to follow from Japan, competing in the men's epee, Koki Kano. In the women's epee from Hungary, please welcome Esther Muhari. Representing Team Shield in the men's saber from France, it's Jean-Philippe Patrice. Next up, it's Michela Battiston from Italy in the women's saber. And finally, captaining Team Shield in the men's foil from Hong Kong, it's Ryan Choi. And now for the coin toss.
It's women's first. Heads or tails? Let's see. You're good to choose. You like to start with the advantage marker or you pass it over to your opponent? You will go for it? Okay. Then Team Blade goes with the advantage marker. Good luck to the teams.
And that was just the coin toss for the advantage market. I've got the Team Blade team captain, Lee Kiefer. Lee, tell me, this is the World Fencing League. This is the debut. How excited are you for tonight?
Oh, we are so excited. We are all competitors, and I think we're all going for blood tonight.
I think so, and of course, you're getting to compete alongside some of the best. Describe to me Team Blade and what you all have on this side.
Oh man, well besides me, we have height, but we bring centuries of experience, we bring Olympic medals, we have it all.
Lee, you are in the first bout, so I'm gonna let you and Ariana go ahead and start warming up. We can't wait to see you on the piste. And now, Ryan Choi, team captain. Ryan, tell me, you just heard what Lee had to say. What does this opportunity do for the sport of fencing?
I think it's something new. Even like we compete for many years, there's nothing like this. So it's very exciting, and I hope after today it's a brand new page for fencing. We create a history for everyone. Yeah.
Before I ask you, Ariana, I want to let you know. Ariana, you can go ahead and start warming up, so go for it. We heard what Lee just had to say in regard to Team Blade. With your team, Team Shield, how would you describe the group that you have here and the talent that you have?
We have legends. They have height, but we have speed. We have Olympic gold medalists. They have also, but I guess our ones are stronger. We have world champions.
You guys hear this, right?
Yeah, but I think it will be a very good competition because both of us are very strong. So I look forward to it.
I do as well. Team Shield, Team Blade, go ahead and make your way. The bouts will begin in just a minute. Now, fencing has always been about speed, precision, and timing. But also, admittedly, it's been a bit challenging to follow along. So we wanted someone who could make it not only clear and engaging, but also a bit funny. So naturally, we called one of the best, Keegan Michael Key. And well, we got very lucky because he said yes. So you guys are about to learn a little bit of things, but also have some fun.
This weapon we have is the foil.
The foil?
And the target area is this entire vest, which is called a lame. You have to have enough pressure to get 1 point.
Okay.
But there is a right of way, which means if I'm starting to initiate the action, I'm gonna hit at the same time, I get the point.
Got it. Okay. Sounds great.
Got it?
I got it. Let's do it.
On guard.
On guard. Maybe you should put a mask on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so vest is the target, front and back.
Yep.
Right of way gets the point.
Yep.
That's the foil.
Touché.
Foil coming first with two titans in the sport. The fencer with the most touches will win. Both of them battling for $10,000. That will go to the winner. Lee Kiefer, the three-time Olympic gold medalist and Team Blade captain, scoring off against the world number 5, Ariana Arrigo from Italy, the 4-time Olympic medalist.
Yeah, I mean, you said it perfectly. Two titans, right? I mean, these, like, you really can't ask for a better matchup. You know, I mean, legends, both of them. First, we've got Lee Kiefer coming up, right? I mean, for anyone who knows the sport, you really can't say enough about Lee. She has been back-to-back Olympic gold medals, right? She has another one in team. So she's, in the last 2 Olympics, has 3 Olympic gold medals. Just an unbelievable fencer, talent, amazing to watch. In my opinion, and I'm a little biased because she's a good friend of mine, but I think she's genuinely, I think it's pretty hard to argue that she's the greatest women's foilist in American women's foil history, but I think the very strong argument can be made that she's the greatest, of all time from any country. So, I mean, she's just so strong, so consistent. Her win record at the world stage is unbelievable, right? I mean, she's just so good. She hits from angles that no one would expect. She's so fast. I would say she is the greatest infighter, in existence right now. So it's got to be. She's never easy to beat. And next we have Ariana Arrigo, again, a legend in her own right. She has represented Italy for so long. You saw the graphic there. She has 22 different medals from world championships over the years that she's represented Italy. Just an unbelievable, the amount of time that she's spent at the top of the game, it can't be overstated, right? So again, incredibly strong fencer. A very different matchup too. We've got, Arrigo and a very, very tall, Lee's, is a bit shorter. Very different matchups, but don't let the height of Arrigo fool you. Has an insanely quick hand, super accurate, very tactical, and she doesn't just use her reach to pick away, right? She's very aggressive too.
Rules for foil of note: 2 minutes are going to be put on the clock. Each fencer, they will get 1 60-second timeout at their discretion. Off-target hits, they're not scored. They will not interrupt the competition at all. That's part of a new rule as part of WFL. And the on-guard 15-second timer after each point. You'll go back to that line, along with the double touch window reduced to 200 milliseconds to have 2 consecutive touches at this discipline.
That's right. So yeah, I would say a couple of the notable rules, like you said, the lockout timing, right? So the time between when one fencer can hit and when the machine will allow the other person's light to register is 33% shorter than, in literally the last competition, right? So a noticeable change, and like you said, the lack of off targets completely changes the game, right? This is going to make it a lot easier to understand what's going on, but I mean, this is going to be an adjustment for these fencers, right? So we'll see how that goes. The other notable change is the time, right? We're not going to 15 anymore. It's a running 2-minute clock. We'll stop when the bout stops, but at basically the end of that 2 minutes, we're going to know who wins just by who has more touches. So it definitely encourages people to fence faster.
We're seeing the arrows graphically. Explain to us what we're seeing there.
Those are indications of who has right-of-way. So we've got some pretty advanced tech that we can mention that's going to help you understand who has right-of-way. Right there, we saw that last exchange go to Lee Kiefer, so she's now up 1-0. And there we see kind of that rule change in action, right? We saw Arrigo kind of going forward. She was not able to hit the target successfully, and so Lee was able to score a counterattack.
They have to target the torso, and it's got to be the tip. That's the target that needs to be hit. The blade is light. It is flexible at this discipline.
There you see that skill that we have in Lee. She's like such a good infighter. And another rule change is you can normally the ref would stop in pretty much less than a second after they pass. In this in the World Fencing League, we're actually allowed to get them to keep going. Really, as long as the referee sees reasonable. So that's why you see them kind of still going at it even after they pass. But they're both of them, exceptional infighters. But it's I think in close, Lee definitely has the advantage.
Each touch is a point, and by the end of the 2 minutes, whoever has more points wins $10,000.
And then we see both in fighting, no one able to get a light on just yet, so they back off. That aggression from Arrigo. She's very, very strong when she puts pressure on. And Lee comes in there. Arrigo goes for the counterattack, but Lee's able to land that hit right to the shoulder. Really, really good point control from Lee.
It was fun looking at Lee, and on social media, she was talking all about this opportunity as we look at what just happened.
Accuracy is so important here now. With the lack of off targets, it completely changes how the game is fenced now in foil. I would argue that foil has some of the most significant changes to its weapon. And there we see another direct attack from Lee, very fast off the line.
In that case, you saw both lights.
Yes. But because Lee started first, and she was the one committing to her attack first, she gets the right of way.
Right of way, and that means obviously she gets the point, and she's up 4.
So we're up 4-0 now. We're 36 seconds into this, so about a quarter of the way through. Crowd making some more noise, but we talked about it before. The lead is there, right? So the onus is now on Arrigo to make that comeback. Longer exchange there. And the remise, still unsuccessful.
So a lot of close quarters going on here.
A lot. Because and a lot of it comes down to the fact that there's no off-target, right? So we're saying, normally something would have gone off that would stop the action, but because the off-target lights don't register, and both of them are exceptionally good at displacing the target and making sure that, they're not getting hit, right? But what's harder, than displacing your main target is what we're not used to as fencers is displacing the off targets too, right? So, but now that those aren't registering, this is creating a whole different dynamic where these infighting touches are lasting so much longer. There we saw, after a couple exchanges, Arrigo coming out on top there. She likes to place her blade high and kind of do what's kind of called a preem repost, right? Very hard to do and very hard to place your tip on at that angle. You see Lee, you see the indicator with Lee with advantage now. And the counterattack. So you take two, that lockout timing comes into play there too. Arrigo's had the attack, but Lee noticed an opening. She took the opportunity to basically hit first and know your blade is too far away, right? You don't have enough time to hit me. I'm going to hit you first and then close out my target.
And what you're seeing right now, our friends over at Dentsu from Japan, the blade tracing technology that we were describing to you, this ability to really break down the blade movements and look at all the different angles and the ways in which they're using their weapon.
Almost halfway through the period. And you see how much different it is when you let them go infighting so much longer. So no touch on that one. The ref calls in, the bout was interrupted. They're not going to count that touch. So we're going to restart from where they left off. Still 5-1. There, really nice jump in from Lee. Doesn't actually put it on, but I like the attempt. There we saw the Lee go for what's called a flick, right? So a flick in fencing is when you actually bend your blade in midair around corners, right? So you're basically, because it's a little bit flexible, you're able to, stop it in midair, and then the tip of the blade will actually whip around a corner. We saw Leach attempt that there. She just barely missed it, and that allowed Arrigo to get that counterattack. We're going to have a timeout now, so a 60-second break. What are your thoughts so far, Brian?
Well, I'm trying to figure out what's going through the mindset of Arrigo, because she isn't winning as many points as she'd like, but she is being more of the dictating presence out there, as a lot of these exchanges are ending up on Kiefer's end.
They are, yeah. I mean, a lot of that comes down to just the natural pressure that Arrigo likes to put on, which is honestly kind of counterintuitive for someone of her height. A lot of people are very comfortable taking a step back, playing defense, using their reach, but she doesn't really play that game, right? She really, really likes to put someone, back them up, and force them into a situation that makes them uncomfortable. But the problem is, Lee's just not that uncomfortable, right? She's so skilled at getting out of those situations, it's fine, and then she's able to take over when she wants to. I think what's coming down to a lot of this is not necessarily, in terms of the score that's represented right now. They're both taking control of the bout and at reasonable amounts of time. I think what's really coming down to is Lee is putting her light on her first intention action more often than Ariana Arrigo is.
Arrigo with Team Shield and Kiefer with Team Blade, and so there's the individual component to this matchup, but then there's also the team component as well. Whoever wins this particular matchup between Kiefer and Arrigo will give a point to their team. It goes to the overall tally, which is set in stone for another $40,000 combined, split amongst the team that wins by the end of tonight.
Yeah. So there's a lot of incentive, not just to win your bout, but to win collectively as a team, right? There's a lot on the line.
These are two Olympic gold medalists here. You see Arrigo back in 2023. She was the fencing world champion in the team on gold and also individual silver. And that was 5 months after she gave birth to twins.
Yeah.
5 months after.
Incredibly accomplished fencer, and like I said, she's been around. She's been at the top of the world for almost basically ever since she entered the senior circuit. There we see that technology in play. You can see where the tips are moving right now. And there we see where it hit. So, one more touch for Arrigo. Making it 3-5. Oh, a very nice setup from Lee. She pressured. Wanted to actually bait out the attack and preparation from Arrigo, which she got. She actually got what she wanted. She just missed that. So you see that parry right there, and she takes that repost. She doesn't hit it, and then Arrigo does that that action that you see. She's just kind of flipping her guard, around so she can get under the mask and kind of bend her tip at a different angle. Extremely hard to do, but she's excellent at it.
That's a couple consecutive points for Arrigo, and after that slow start, she has things all tied up at 5.
Yeah, that timeout really helped her. They're really needed in this sport, right? To just take us, break the momentum, collect your thoughts, actually think about what's going wrong, make some adjustments. And I think Lee's a little surprised that she didn't hit that. I'm going to be honest, it did look like she hit. But Lee actually had the right of way on that last touch. You see Arrigo kind of stop. Lee takes over, take over right of way. Right there, and Arrigo actually counterattacks. Lee doesn't hit, so point goes to Arrigo. I think Lee's going to change her foil. So not quite a use of a timeout, which is more of a technical break.
Kiefer became the first fencer to represent the United States to win the Olympic gold medal in individual foil, and she did that in 2021 at Tokyo. And then you go 4 years ago, and that was when she was inducted into the International Fencing Federation. Key moments so far, and a lot of infighting to begin.
You can see how hard it is when you're that close. It's so hard to, because you have a long blade, right? It's not like you have a dagger or anything that where in close quarters you can use. You have to basically figure out a way to manipulate your hand, bring your hand away from your target, and then bend a foil to be ready to hit a target that's almost as close, bumping up against your own chest, right?
When you've got a blade, for example, in foil that is more flexible, how does that affect the more aggressive fencer when you have more flexibility with your blade? Does that in any way, shape, or form go into your psyche on what you're trying to do out there?
It has more to do with your skill as a fencer than it does whether you're the aggressor or not. And really nice attack there. So we saw Ariana Arrigo kind of like, she held the attack, kind of broke. Lee had the right of way opportunity, didn't take it. Ariana Arrigo just saw that like moment of hesitation and took it. But to answer your question, a lot of it's just skill and being able to actually like use the angles that are available to you. Part of what makes Arrigo such a strong fencer is she's so good at not just hitting straight in front of her, but all these angles. They're like to the shoulder, to the back, around parries. It makes her very, very scary. 5-5 now. 26 seconds left. So Lee's being pretty cautious as she moves forward. She's very aware that the stop hit, which is like something Arrigo's basically counterattack and running away, is very dangerous. So she's taking her time, wants to make sure that she's able to take the parry if that counterattack comes through, so she can hit afterwards.
Nobody hit.
Wow.
Finally, Arrigo.
Very tense there. I mean, like again, you saw like that infighting. That I've noted. I think Lee is like just insanely strong as an infighter, but Arrigo is really, really, showing how strong she is too. And you can see, like this shows you like how fast those blades are moving all over the place. And you'll see that last touch where she actually whips that blade right on Lee's back. Very impressive touch. 6-5 for Arrigo. 2 seconds left.
Her first lead.
And 2. Okay. Ariana Arrigo now has a 2-touch lead with just over a second left. I will say this is, depending on how on the spot the clock is, it is. I think theoretically possible. It is possible that if Lee can run fast enough to get the touch, but a really, really tall order. We already saw how fast Lee was trying to make that last touch happen because she knew that 2 seconds is. That's almost no time. So we're dealing with a near impossibility here, but let's see what she can pull out.
And
Arrigo wins.
And you're withdrawing to kind of pull back to buy some time. Arrigo comes from behind the Italian, the 4-time Olympic medalist, and she gets the job done against the American, the legend in her own right, Lee Kiefer.
Yes, amazing adjustments. The way she changed her distance to be able to start actually hitting those actions that she was missing in the first period before she took that break. It was all the difference, right? And we really showed just how scary of a fencer she is and how amazing that hand of hers is. Really well fenced by Arrigo.
Also the timeout as well. And with that, let's get it down to Kirsten.
Awesome to be out here.
And there's more opportunity for Team Blade, so don't you worry. But let me get on over here to Ariana, who just won the first ever World Fencing League bout. Ariana, congratulations. How special was this for you?
Yes, I'm really too happy. And Lee is amazing. And I think this event is fantastic. So thank you so much. Thank you.
What a battle back. Congratulations. You'll be taking home $10,000. And of course, some points for Team Shield and more opportunity for you guys to win. So congratulations.
$10,000 going to Arrigo. How much would you say could this be an upset?
Yeah, I think there's probably a lot of people that would have put a bet on Lee, but as far as the scope of an upset, we're talking pretty not that big. These are two unbelievably talented fencers. Both are so seasoned, so experienced, so good, right? We're dealing with a new set of rules that are playing a factor, and I think that's part that it takes a lot of skill to recognize, especially when, some of the changes like having no off target are so significant, right? Being able to really adjust how you're fencing is very important.
When we come back, we've got so much more to get to. We will head over to the men's foil. That is due to come next. You're watching the first ever World Fencing League event.
unpredictable discipline where the rules define it all. Any touch can score, patience meets precision, and one touch can change everything. Isn't that right, guys?
This weapon we have is the Epee.
The Epee. All right.
Very simple. The whole body is the target area.
The entire body.
The whole body.
Here.
Yep.
Here.
1 point.
Here.
1 point.
All the way down here.
All the way down here.
Wow. Even here.
Even here.
Amazing. Okay.
But there is a double touch, which means we can both hit each other and both get a point.
And we both get a point. Okay. All right.
And that's the Epee.
The Epee. That's great. Okay, so I'll be Hamlet and you're going to be Laertes.
That works.
All right. I know it sounds like I'm the hero, but it's okay. We both died.
To men's epee, put 3 minutes on the clock in one anticipated matchup. Number 1 in the world, Koki Kano from Japan is going to be taking on number 2 globally in Gergely Siklowski, the 2-time Olympic medalist from Hungary. And Kano has been on a tear as of late, Japan's first individual gold medal winner in any fencing event. He then went on to win a silver medal in the team epee event. The guy is on a tear right now.
I mean, this is a stacked match again. I mean, number 1 versus number 2 right here. We see number 2, Gergely Siklowski, such a scary fencer. I mean, he's tall, he's strong. I mean, he's like just an imposing figure. I mean, yeah, you'll see him on the strip. This guy, I mean, in an epee, what is known as the weapon where the height and reach advantage are the most significant, right? Because all that matters in this weapon is who hits first. Right of way is not a factor here, right? So someone that tall, someone with that like fast of a lunge and is able to use that reach so well, such a scary fencer. He's patient, he's amazing on defense and offense, right? He takes his time and he goes for the deep touches. He often hits the chest, but he's great at it.
And what about Kano?
And now we've got Kano. I mean, like you said, on a tear right now. Very different stylistically. I mean, this is the reigning Olympic champion. He is, doesn't have as much of a reach advantage, but, we saw Ryan Choi, the team captain, say it in the, during when they brought up the teams. I mean, they've got speed on their side, and Kano is one of them, right? This guy is fast, extremely quick, really active on the blade. So it makes him very, very exciting, especially because in epee, this is kind of a rarity, right? Where you're that active on the blade. He takes a lot of risks. He's not as patient as others. He's he uses his blade a lot. He flicks around, finds targets, on the arm, which is very hard to do. So he doesn't necessarily rely on just, going for, one error, of the opponent and diving into the chest, right? He looks for a lot of very innovative touches. So I'm excited to see how this bout turns out. We've got, someone who's kind of, a little bit more traditional, but really, really, excellent at that, that patient game versus someone who's more upbeat, more a little more dynamic and uses a lot more tricks up his sleeve.
The entire body is the target. It's the heaviest blade of all the 3 disciplines. And you said patience. You don't want to be too patient, though, because the passivity timer will come in 45 seconds. A penalty will be assured if no fencer has scored a point within 45 seconds.
Very true. So that passivity timer being 45 seconds and the fact that we only have 1 3-minute clock, right? This is going to highly incentivize a lot more, action in the bout. First touch going to Kano. Nice. Stop it to the hand. This is one where it's actually, you see the Dentsu here. It's really, really nice to see exactly where that tip is landing. Right to that shoulder is Siklowski ends up kind of diving to hit Kano on the leg.
Unlike foil, too, with epee, both fencers, if they hit that valid target area within the timing window, which is about 40 milliseconds, they can each get a point.
That's right. Yeah, because this is the weapon where, there's no right of way, right? All that matters is who hits first, and you can hit anywhere on the body. But if both people hit, basically simultaneously, then they both get a double touch. And we see one there.
Both lights going on there, meaning both hits were made.
Yep. 2-1 for Kano. Now remember, part of the thing about epee is there's a large defender's advantage, right? There's it's very nice to be able to be the reactor in epee, where you can see when someone's coming and see the open target and just go for it, right? Because you don't necessarily need to take the parry. And because of that, having a lead and having the ability to just hit double touches makes defense and just having a lead very, very important, right? One touch, obviously, can definitely be overcome. But if that lead grows to a few touches, that could be a hard thing to overcome. And a nice repost there from Siklosi.
By no means is this the first time that these two have faced off. You got to just go right back to 2025, the World Fencing Championships. Kano won the individual Epee gold medal, and he beat his very opponent on this stage.
Yeah, by one touch. Yeah, close bout. I mean, no, these are such equally matched fencers. This is, I mean, you're already seeing it, and the pace that they're at it's really, really high. And a nice attack from Siklosi. A lot of blade action you see there, right? So he's really, really engaging the blade heavily, but he's pressuring. He finds that moment where he's really able to extend that arm all the way and actually go deep into Kano's target area.
What's going into the decision-making in terms of entering the distance and adding on to being more aggressive?
Yeah, I mean, in Epee, it's so much about setting up that one shot, right? Because, the lead up doesn't, you don't need to maintain right of way, right? It's about like masking what your intentions are and waiting for that one moment where you can make an action that that you're going to be the one that gets there first. And there's a lot of tactics and feints, and there's so much that goes into actually building on that opportunity, right? And a nice remise there from Kano. He goes for that initial flick to the hand, so it's he doesn't miss that one, right? There's a big bell guard in Epee that actually makes it really hard to hit right around the hand. So we'll see him miss here because Siklosi is able to parry and defend himself, but his blade is too far to be able to make the repost in time, which gives Kano the opportunity to make that remise because his tip's that much closer.
You said remise. That means you're changing the line.
No, remise is basically someone's attempt to hit the person after they've already failed an action. So if I, make an attack, it failed, I missed, and then I go again, that's what's called a remise.
And are you attacking that same area on that when you're?
It could be anywhere. It's just like a second attempt after a first failed one.
A second attempt,
yeah.
Exactly.
And we see another nice leg touch there from Kano. 4-3 now, about halfway through the period.
It's the technology,
really nice,
technology from Dentsu allowing us to really see the intricacies and the nuances of the blade movement and how it works to each competitor's favor.
Yeah, and let me tell you that is a really hard target to hit the leg. It's often people go for it often because it's kind of a high risk, high reward target area because it's and you see Siklosi went for the same target there, right? It's often went for it. I mean, really, really nice touch. You can see how fast his legs are when he goes in for those touches. And I like the energy that he's bringing into the crowd.
It's a sold-out crowd, by the way.
Yes,
I want to make sure we let everybody know that. Not an open seat available.
But really nice toe touch there. I mean, it's such a small target to hit, but because it's further from their blade, it can be harder to defend, right? It's if someone's coming at me and someone's going for my foot, you don't really notice that that's where they're going until the last second. And so it can be a hard thing to defend against, but if you miss it, you're very exposed. So there comes the high risk. And it's a small target. You got to be pinpoint accuracy. A minute left. There we go. So you have to be so careful entering the distance, right? So there we saw, Siklosi getting a little close, active on the blade, but because he took it a little bit too close to his body, he wasn't ready to hit. Kano was there, his tip was ready to target, and he just dove in.
One of the nuances of the rules with WFL is that if we end up going the 3 minutes and we've got a tie score, we would then have a golden point. We haven't quite reached that yet, but if we do, that would be a sudden death point.
Yep. I'd love to see it. Wow. A lot of, this is a really, really high blade action bout, and you can see how they're both bouncing in and out, right? Because they're both feinting invitations, right? They're entering the distance and making you nervous. Is it going to be now? Is now the moment that I'm going to go for it, right? And it just comes down to milliseconds of they both were right there to target, but just barely Kano's able to to hit just a little bit first. We have a timeout now.
A timeout used. You said the distance, and obviously there's a lot of people that are well ingratiated with the sport. They know exactly what you're talking about. But we also, and look at Miles Chamley Watson talking up here.
Yeah. Big difference here is, like normally, in every other competition you have like a coach in your corner. Not this time. We don't like you just have your teammates there that are helping you out. So I think it's a cool dynamic.
But the distance is sort of like for those who are maybe watching this sport for the first time, it's the attacking range, right? Your ability, if you're entering the distance, you have an opportunity to potentially get offensive.
Yeah, it's just used as a term, generally speaking, of like how, close to striking range are you, right? And so when someone says you are in distance, that means you are within basically striking distance. Now that's kind of a little bit of a loose, vague term, right? Different striking distances for different people, depending on how tall you are, how fast you are, right? But that's what we usually mean. And a double touch there.
Double touch.
33 seconds left. So, Ciclosi needs to get 2 touches. He needs to get 2 individual lights in order to come back and at least tie it up so that he can bring it to overtime if he gets there, right? If time runs out and Kano is still ahead, or whoever's ahead will win the bout.
Stylistically, what do you think he does? Ciclosi.
He's really good at figuring out these things. You see, like he's thinking, how can I actually attack and pressure and score the touch? Because I can't do it just by engaging the blade like I have, because Kano's really, really good at finding ways around it, right? So he's pressuring, looking for that opportunity, trying to find flicks around the hand. We have a pass there. The ref says no touch. Kano actually stepped outside of the side of the strip, so they're allowed to pass, but you still have to maintain yourself on the strip, otherwise the referee will say halt or stop the bout. No touch there. 16 seconds left now.
With the WFL rule change, passing does not automatically stop the action, by the way.
It's at the referee can stop it if it feels like there's not going to be,
For sure.
8-5 now for Kano. So, 14 seconds left in Epee. This is actually quite a tough road to climb. It is not easy to score 3 single lights, mind you, right? Because of that double touch factor. This is going to be quite hard for Ciclosi. And then you see, part of the reason that it's so hard to be in this situation where you have to score touches is your opponent knows that you're coming, right? So it's like I said it before. A lot of this sport is masking your intentions, right? I want to deceive what I want you to do. I don't want you to know when I'm coming. But if you know I'm coming, right, which he has to now, it just makes it easier for Kano to see, to prepare for it.
Another double touch. Each player getting a point.
Kano is probably just looking for double touches at this point. Again.
Double touch.
Because at that point, he's not giving up the lead of any margin.
Yeah, exactly. And when you're trying to get single lights, right, you have to think a little bit differently about the risks you take or the risks that you don't take. But it's, if all you need is a double light, you can just not engage the blade and just see when they're coming and just go for a target, right? And then we got another single for Kano.
Point.
There we see some of the masterminds behind the WFL. 5 touches down, 9 seconds left.
Pretty much an insurmountable deficit to overcome at this point.
Yeah, it pretty much is. But, we're going to see. Close is going to do his best. He's not going to give up. We saw him get one right there.
And he's holding out the pointing line, continuous line out there in front of him.
And he gets another one. Okay, we're within 3 with 7 seconds. You saw how fast he scored that one. That was less than a second that he scored that touch, right? So mathematically, it is possible. It's extremely challenging, but it is possible. So it looks like we're gonna have a timeout.
So what adaptations, adjustments from Kano might you be pondering, considering this little run, if you will, that Ciclosi has found himself on?
Yeah, what Ciclosi's done really well the last couple touches is he's not just going for a straight line hit. He's pressuring really fast, but taking the blade on the way in, but making sure his point is right to target. So it's actually quite hard for Kano to just get that double light, right? So I think he's going to adjust his mentality and stray away from just doing the, just going for the double, and then try to think about actually countering what Siklosi's changed.
Keep in mind that Team Shield won the first bout earlier when Ariana Arrigo came back from behind and beat Lee Kiefer. So Team Shield has a chance to go up 2-0 in the overall tally if they hold on here.
And there we see that clock. I mean, we're within one more. I'm sure Siklosi, if that actually hit when they actually first came together, we could be talking about a real comeback. Now, it's still possible, right? But we saw about a second and a half or two even maybe where they were just infighting. That would have been huge if Siklosi actually was able to save those 2 seconds.
Look at that beautiful scenery. Packed house. The crowd is incredible. They started setting up 2 days ago for this inaugural event.
Touch. Point.
World-class production by all.
3.5 seconds. Can he do it? A double.
Double touch.
And you're okay doing that if you're Koki.
Yeah. And one thing I want to say is a big difference here, right, is in a fencing outside of the World Fencing League, right, it stops at 15, meaning Kano only has to get to 15 and then he wins. But here it's just like, I just have to maintain it, it could get to 16, 17, 18, right? It's like, no, it's not over until the time runs out, it makes it a bit different.
A little over 2 seconds left. We started with 3 minutes on the clock.
Another double.
Double touch. Point.
Half a second left. 2-touch deficit. I think Kano has held his ground. He's done it, I think. We have time for, looks like, one more action. But you can just see how fast he's going for those touches. He gets one.
World number one, Kano, puts another point on the board for Team Shield, and they've won the first 2 bouts.
Yeah, 2-0. Really nice defense fight. That was a very exciting bout, and I was really happy to see, just how action-packed it was, with that, the new format, right? So often, in Epee, it's just a little bit slower, but let's go to the desk.
How electric that was, the comeback that you almost had on this stage. What was it like competing in front of these fans against Koki?
The fans, the crowd, you were awesome, especially the Team Blade side. You were awesome. Thank you for the support. I'm sorry I didn't make it. Maybe next time I will do it. But we always have these fights, so I'm really happy to fence him all the time, and he was just better this day.
Made it electric. Thank you so much. Koki, congratulations! You'll be taking home $10,000, and you've picked up your first win in the World Fencing League. Tell me, what was it like going off against Gergi?
Yeah, first, thank you for my support, and thank you for organizing this competition. Today, it was very fun, and every time I'm fun with strong fencers, so excited.
What was your game plan today?
Today, it's first defense, and it's in match. I'm thinking in the match, and yes, because he's so strong, maybe I can't plan.
Congratulations, Koki. You're taking home $10,000, and that is another win for Team Shield, so congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You cannot ask for a better matchup. The top 2 in the world in Epee squaring off, and Kano gets the job done. Fascinating story in that when he was younger, he was involved in artistic gymnastics and then switched sports after watching Japanese fencer Yuki Ota pick up a silver medal in 2008. As we see some of the highlights from what we just witnessed between these two, with Kano winning over Siklosi.
Yeah, really, really exciting bout. Super high energy. I think I love seeing how from the start we saw how much, effort they're putting in, just like we need to score touches now, right? With that passivity rule or the non-combativity rule, 45 seconds is not a whole lot of time, right? So they're very incentivized, and they only have one period, right? So stuff start. This is a weapon where oftentimes you can see, the first period maybe very little happens, but it picked up really quickly here.
You know what I'm noticing is listening to these athletes talk. They love the fact that this event is happening.
I agree. It's exciting for everybody, and
Women's epee, and a highly anticipated matchup here as well. Each fencer also has a challenge added. This is part of the rules, but we want to get into Alexandra Ndolo's resume. 15th in the world, a silver medal won at the World Championships in Cairo at the individual event in 2022. Esther Muhari, a lefty, 4th in the world from Hungary. Her first Olympic appearance coming in Paris, and what did she do, David? She took bronze at the Epee individual event.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super excited to see how this one plays out, right? Right here we have Alexandra Ndolo, World Champion silver medalist, represented Kenya in the Olympics. Left-handed, she's, quite tall, but moves really well for that height, right? So, she's patient. She's really, really good at taking those opportunities when they come. But you'll see she's very light on her feet too. So she's really, really good at moving in and out, finding those moments. And when she does strike, she's very good at going for those high lines.
Muhari, recently competing for Notre Dame. 3 Epee individual NCAA national championships, including 2 straight. Won one just a few days ago.
Yeah. I mean, very, very recently, the NCAA individual champion representing Notre Dame. You can see there, Olympic bronze medalist. She's currently, she's 4th in the world right now. You see there, pressure proof. This is, I think such a good description of her. She is fearless, right? Whether you're the one just coming at her and trying to put the pressure on her, she knows exactly how to handle it. She's cool under pressure. She knows how to come back from when she's down. This is going to be an exciting matchup. And Buhari's a tall fencer, but to see her, at a height disadvantage against Ndolo, it's both left-handed, both really, really good at taking those, at being patient, taking the long, deep shots into the body. I think I'll be curious to see how this bout breaks down. Are we going to, is a lot of this going to come down to those timing touches where, we're going for fast flushes into the body? Are we going to be going to more touches to the toe, to the hand?
Alt.
It almost looks like for Muhari, she's patient and baiting and just waiting her time to then go in and find that right moment, but not initiating necessarily.
Both of them kind of are, right? They're both like entering distance, exiting, entering, exiting, right? Because again, it comes down to those like kind of feints, right? It's like, am I coming? Am I not? And then like it's a surprise when it actually when the real threat actually comes, right? That's what you want. That's what you want, is to really hide what your intentions are until that very last moment in Epee. And a double touch.
Double touch. Point.
Muhari, I think, went for the hand on the initial one. Doesn't quite hit it, but she's very, very quick with the recovery. So they both hit towards the body.
A little bit of pressure on Team Blade, considering that Team Shield won the first two bouts.
Yeah.
Arrigo and then Kano. So Team Blade needs to find ways to win bouts here.
Yeah, another win for Shield, and they'll at least lock a tiebreaker, right? So they'll at least have one half, so that, they can't outright lose, if they win this one. A nice toe touch. You see those? I mean, like those require such quick, such quick motions, right? Because it's far, and you saw how close Ndolo's tip was to actually hitting the shoulder. I mean, we're talking such small fractions of a second, right? She's just barely unprepared. Because you can feint into the body and then switch it down to the toe, and it just catches you a little off guard, and that can be enough to shake someone up. And a single light from Muhari.
Point.
Takes the blade on the way in to protect herself. A smart action there.
Blade tracking technology with Dentsu on hand, showing exactly where that touch was landed.
Ndolo putting on a little bit more pressure now. She had a moment there. I think she actually, putting on pressure, waiting for an opening. She kind of had it, but she hesitated just a little bit, and Muhari was able to kind of, push herself just a little bit further in on that remise to get that touch. So maybe a little shaky from Ndolo. I think she's, so maybe just adjust. We're gonna have a timeout now, so this will be a nice break for Alexandra Ndolo to kind of reset. Think about what's going wrong, get some advice from her team, because I think she's had a couple touches where she has the right idea, but maybe just a little bit of lack of confidence in what her action is. So we're about halfway through the period now. 4-touch lead for Muhari. Again, in this weapon. It's not so easy to make those comebacks, right? Especially when you've only got, about a minute and a half left. But you see her getting some advice. I'm sure it's some great smart advice from Siklosi.
The entire body is open to be targeted from head to toe as part of the discipline. We're going to see Saber later on. So Miles Chamley-Watson will be part of the 6th and final bout.
Yeah.
Men's foil, I teased that earlier. That's going to be the final one tonight with Ryan Choi, his opposition.
Brett, Ali.
Okay, let's see what adjustments have been made on both sides.
Nobody wanting to take much
nice
risk.
Touch again. Wow.
Point.
I mean, she points to her team. She's like, I guess that was something they discussed, but I mean, really nice touch. I mean, she knew exactly what she wanted. Immediate toe touch, hits it exactly. You can just see how good she is at executing that touch.
And there's no previous intel to dictate that that's going to happen. She disguises it really well.
Yeah, she disguises it really well. I mean, 2 times now in this bout, if you're Alexandra Ndola, you have to be very cognizant of it. And like the way you defend against that is you actually just pull your foot back, right? It's a quick motion, but you have to be ready for it and expecting it.
Look at the crowd on hand, soaking this up and taking in one historic night.
The remise there from Mohari. As during the pass, she's able to hit that repost. This 7-1. We saw a toe attempt from Ndolo. And there she gets one.
That's got to feel good for her. And she tries to work her way back.
Yeah.
What a cool angle there. The point of view, first person point of view.
Yeah. Very, very cool.
This is what is going to bring new fans to the sport. When they can figure out this and picture themselves, what would it be like for me to be in that situation with this kind of technology? This is what the sport needs.
Yeah, when you really can visualize it in 3 dimensions, because it's kind of hard, standing from the side to understand, literally the depth of what's going on, because you can't see everything. So having that kind of third person 3D view can really give you perspective on what's actually happening. There, she's ready for that toe touch now. She's much more aware. She's able to pull that foot back. Seems like she's adjusting. She's a bit more confident now. I think she can. She definitely has the capability to come back from this. Double there.
Double touch. Point.
And with a double touch in Epee, the lockout time is like 40 milliseconds.
40 milliseconds. That's right. Yeah, very, very short. So we're talking like basically the exact same time.
Yeah. So if it's any longer than 40 milliseconds, that second touch would not count as a point.
Yeah, the light just doesn't go on. So we have another timeout here.
We haven't had to see a golden point played, but if any one of these bouts is tied after the allotted time has run thin, they will have a sudden death, next point, next touch wins. They'll go back out there on the strip to battle it out.
Yep, I would love to see it. We'll see if we can make it happen in this bout. Let's see if Ndolo can really. I mean, she has her whole team rallied around her. They're cheering for her. They want her to come back. They want to stay in this. 5 touches. We've got a little less than a minute left. It's definitely possible. You make the right changes. She's already made some of those changes, right? She's aware of that toe touch. She's, kind of, caught on to some of the actions that Mohari's making. So, she is going in the right track. Whether she can, keep that up and make enough adjustments in the 34 seconds that we have left, we'll see. And there's one. She has those timings, and she's very, very good at hitting those deep touches. It's just, like I said earlier, I think she was just a little bit hesitant that, and not quite confident that she had those moments, but it seems like she's fencing with more assertion and confidence now.
Her first Olympics, her only Olympic appearance was in Paris for Ndolo 2024. Good amount of patience we're seeing from her tonight.
All right, now we're going to have to start catching up some touches soon. Goes for that toe touch with the duck. And Mohari extends her lead by 1. Nice defense. So we're back at a 5-touch deficit. This is a tough comeback again in this weapon, right? We're dealing with not too much time left. It's 5 touches in a few seconds each. It's a tall ask. We'll see if Ndolo can make it happen.
And no right away for Epee, even though Ndolo was the one pushing forward.
She's going for it. She's very, very close on that one. Goes for the toe. Mohari sees it coming. You can see there, she pulls that leg and is able to extend and hit, can basically counterattack and hit Ndolo in the high target.
On guard.
6-touch deficit now.
Red, allez.
And she gets one.
Touch. Point.
The running attack. Beckoning on the crowd. And I love how these athletes are playing with the crowd.
Yeah, absolutely.
On guard. Red, allez.
And a double to finish it
Double
off.
touch. Point. En
Less than
garde.
half a second left.
Prêt. Allez. Halt.
And Mohari will close it out, 11-6. A third win for Team Shield. Really good. I mean, like hard to have any notes on the side of Mohari, right? I mean, just really, really well fenced on her end.
Lots of success with the toe touches.
Yes, absolutely. Lots of success with the toe touches. I mean, like when you look at the how she got her early lead, she did it in a very she mixed up her actions a lot. We'll go to the interview here.
How cool was this for you this evening?
It's amazing. I mean, of course, I love winning. Like, really love winning. But being here is amazing, so I'm happy to be here.
And it was a tough battle, but an exciting one. So let me get on over to Esther. Esther, congratulations as I make my way to you. You were dominant from the beginning. Tell me, what was just the game plan for you going up against Alexandra?
I just wanted to follow my teammates. They won the last 2 bouts. I had to follow them with the third one.
I know Team Shield is killing it right now. I mean, we heard earlier Ryan talking about how special this group is. So what are you seeing from Team Shield right now?
I see so much discipline, even though this is an event to enjoy much. We're enjoying, and at the same time, we're so disciplined, we're so focused. And these fencers, these people are just the best in the world, both as a team, Team Blade and Team Shield. So I'm so happy and so blessed to be here.
And Esther, we owe you a big congratulations, because not only did you pick up your first win in the World Fencing League, but you're taking home $10,000. You guys are racking up the money over there. Esther, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And it has been all Team Shield. Arrigo winning 7-5, Kano 13-11. We just saw Mohari. And as competitive, David, as these athletes are, even if you're on the losing side, these interviews that they're having post-bout, gratitude seems to be the defining emotion. The fact that this event is happening means more to them than we'll ever know.
I think that, yeah, you hit it right, nail right on the head, right? I think we're all just so, like, I've been in this sport my whole life. I think everyone who has been in the sport as long as, even remotely as long as I have, and grown up with the sport, like all of these incredible athletes have, I mean, just the gratitude that you have for the fact that this is being put on, and the fact that they get to represent, their team be on this stage is an incredible opportunity. It's an incredible, honor to be on that stage. I think we're all just so excited to be a part of this and witness how this sport is being revolutionized right before our eyes. The 3-0 for Team Shield. It'll be a tough hill to climb for Team Blade. We'll see if they're able to make the comeback.
I love the slow-mo, because you talked about the swiftness and the speed that the blade movement is happening.
Yeah.
So hard to detect from the naked eye. But the ability to slow things down really allows the new fencing fan to see how elaborate these athletes are with their range of motion, their decision-making, their flexibility, and everything that comes together for them to be at the very best of their sport in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love, and in addition to that, not just the slow motion, it's the different camera angles that we're able to see, right? So you really, really get an in-depth view of like where exactly on the target they're hitting, and where the openings are, what it actually, even kind of getting an idea of what it feels like to be on that strip, and as close as you can get, really.
Soon to come, Miles Chamley-Watson will be joining the competition. Stay with us. From Los Angeles, it's the first ever World Fencing League event, and it is a hit here in downtown LA. With that,
as we take a break from fencing, are we down to talk some music for a second? I like that. I love this crowd. Let's start. Swizz Beatz is a true global icon. You know the name, a Grammy Award-winning producer and one of the most influential forces in music around the globe. And he is also the creator of the World Fencing League Anthem. Are we ready for an anthem? LA, are we ready for an anthem? Here to perform that anthem, one of the most iconic bands in college sports, bringing pride, power, and tradition. Everyone, get on your feet, make some noise for the USC Trojan Marching Band.
I think I just saw Sir Lewis Hamilton as part of many dignitaries who we thought would show up. They are showing up. Welcome into the studio. This is the World Fencing League inaugural event here at Shrine Auditorium here in downtown Los Angeles for David Ouellette, the former men's foilist and four-time first-team NCAA All-American. I'm Brian Fenley. Four-time. Does that ever get old for you?
I mean, maybe a little bit. I don't know. I'm just more. It's a long time ago. It feels like forever ago at this point. But which is crazy to say because a lot of these guys were my contemporaries. You know, I mean, I competed with Miles myself. We were teammates back at Penn State. We grew up competing against each other. So some of these fencers I go so far back with, and to see them, have not just like stayed so on top of this, the sport and, with their respective weapons, but also like to see him grow the sport in a way that honestly, when we were kids, I don't think we ever imagined, right? So I've got to give credit to, my old friend Miles on putting this all together and making this such an incredible event.
It goes back to something you and I were both talking about off air before this event started. There was a vision, there was a need, and this is a sport that has openings in its schedule for something like this. And there are going to be the traditionalists, and we want to honor those, but there certainly is space to sort of push the envelope and try something new. And there's something about Miles Chamley Watson that nobody else could see and do and have the connections and the relationships and the talent that he has as far as a fencer and everything that he stands for, his brand, that could allow something like this to not only be a dream, but to be a reality, and then to see all the dignitaries out here, all the celebrities. It's not just thinking about it happening. This is happening, and it's not going away anytime soon.
No, yeah. I mean, like, just to see how much the sport has grown, over the last years, even to see, how much coverage it got of the last Olympics, how much, people like Lee Kiefer and her several gold medals were able to actually, inspire, a new kind of youth of young athletes, and to see Miles kind of rise to his level of stardom that he has. And, we were talking about it before. I see it as the first time in fencing's history that the world was really ready for something like this, and Miles being the first person that was ready to put it out there to the world and bring it all together, right? So I think we're really, as a sport, at a really, really exciting time. I know the whole crowd here can feel it. You can hear the energy in the room. But yeah, it's been an amazing event so far.
By no means there are the diehards, those that know the sport really well. And when you have something like this, you want to honor those who know this sport, the ins and outs. But at the same time, you want to have a conversation, an honest one, in welcoming new people to this sport that might not know exactly what's going on. That's the only way this thing grows. It's a beautiful thing. It's been going on for centuries. So much history, so much tradition, the storylines, and the ability for these fencers to overcome what they had to overcome, the personal stories. Those are things that you can see all over social media with World Fencing League and all their social media platforms. But the ability to finally see this come through, it was an idea that was in 2024, spawned by Chamley Watson, and then the announcement was at the end of last year, and there was a lot of work that happened behind the scenes to make this happen.
Yeah, a lot of work. And like you said, kind of, about the history of, that the sport has, and making sure we want to honor that. I think that was so top of mind, right? Is how do we make this sport something that's, where we really make this something that everyone can watch and enjoy while maintaining the integrity of what makes this sport beautiful. And I think that we really have done that in a way where we're accomplishing both.
Any attention for the sport is good attention.
Yeah.
So traditionalists are going to have a certain way they look at things, and they're going to like a lot of what this is all about and that we're seeing here tonight. But the only way for this sport to grow is getting more attention, and there's no better way to have these athletes come up here. And obviously they want to win. And we've seen so far 3 bouts out of the 6, and we're going to have 3 more coming up soon. But the first 3, Arrigo and Kano and Muhari, all winning for Team Shield.
Yeah.
So they're fighting for $100,000, and you win a bout, you also take individually home $10,000. But I can't get over the fact that the smiles in these athletes' faces, on these athletes' faces, when they are interviewed post-bout, they know that this particular event is greater than the results of whatever comes out of this.
Yeah.
This is so much bigger for the sport. This means so much. And I take something, David, that I saw Miles Chamley Watson post on his Instagram yesterday, and he said, one of his Instagram stories was, today is the day that he, along with everybody that's part of this, changes the sport of fencing forever.
Yeah, I 100% agree. This does mark such a significant change and development in the sport's history, right? And yeah, you mentioned it. I guarantee any other tournament you see any of those fencers lose, they're going to be kicking their equipment, right? They're going to be pissed. But to see just how and I guarantee that almost every other tournament there isn't $10,000 on the line either, right? But to see, to even have that kind of attitude coming away from a loss is so, it's so telling about where, how important this is to everybody.
There's also the ability for this World Fencing League to have a setup that's never been happened before in the terms of the mixed gender team concept that pro fencing has never had.
Pro fencing and really, I think it's pretty rare in the scope of all professional sports, right? And I think that actually is what makes fencing really special in a lot of ways. Growing up, we all train with the opposite gender, right? We even at a young age, I was competing against in mixed gender events. In college, they just recently changed this, but for many years. The collegiate national championships was actually a combined championship between men and women, right? It's the only NCAA sport that was like that. And I think it brings us together as a community and as a sport in a way that not many others can say. And so to kind of be able to bring that to the now professional stage as well, I think really makes it for a special event.
We are amidst the golden age of emerging sports leagues right now. And there is a lot of momentum around them, namely because of, for example, you talk about where we are in Los Angeles for one. The placement of this was by design. The Olympics are coming to Los Angeles, you all are aware, in 2 years. To have this setup here in LA to kick things off with World Fencing League, that was strategic. I also want to get into something that needs to be discussed, and that is most of these fencers have another job. Some of them have to work and make money in other ways, and what this league is pushing for is the ability to be a full-time fencer. Can you imagine? We're already seeing greatness unfold, but if you could have it to where you get to designate your whole life during the day to that particular craft, how much better you could be on top of that. I want to get your thoughts on that in a moment, because we are going to go down to Kirsten. Kirsten is going to be joining us now from Shrine Auditorium.
Final weapon to introduce this evening is the Saber, which means explosive attacks, lightning reactions, and where the right-of-way is imperative. Every exchange can lead to a momentum swing, and hesitation can make all the difference. It's not just about striking first when it comes to this one. So let's go back to our good friends to get a little explanation.
This weapon we have is the Saber, and as you can see, the guard is bigger because the target area is different.
Oh, okay. What is the target area?
The torso to the mask and the hand.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that's why the guard looks like this, because the hand is target, so you have to protect it.
Understood.
And this is the D'Artagnan one, which is the slashing weapon.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, on guard, you ready?
On guard, right? And you said head is the target.
Yes, head to target.
Head to torso.
Exactly.
I am so sorry. Do we get masks for this? Because it feels like we should get masks.
I think so,
yeah. Men's Saber. Oh Song-uk, the South Korean, the righty, 19th in the world, the 3-time Olympic gold medalist, going toe-to-toe with Jean-Philippe Patrice from France, number 2 in the world, ranked as high as number 1, and recently won a bronze medal at the 2024 Summer Olympics.
This is one I think a lot of people are going to be watching out, as their, match to watch, right? I mean, two fencers, don't let that number 19 in the world, Oh Song-uk, right? Like, don't let that fool you. 5-time world champion, right? This guy, when he wants to win those important events, he shows up. This guy is unbelievable. What makes him special is just his unbelievable raw athleticism, right? He is tall, but extremely fast, right? He has athleticism that allows him to get touches that no one else can get, right? When they call him the Terminator, it's not by accident, right? When he wants to destroy people, he absolutely does. So if there's anyone that's going to start this comeback for Team Blade, I think a lot of people are looking at Oh Song-uk to do that.
Then there's Patrice, the 2025 World Championships. He claimed a silver medal in the individual event. They call him, his nickname, the Comeback King.
Listen, he's current number 2 in the world, was not long ago number 1 in the world. On an unbelievable tear recently. He's represented France at the Olympics. Incredible fencer, very different stylistically from O, right? So what we're going to see now from Patrice is we're going to see a much more traditional kind of, classical French style, right? Very upright, very clean, very disciplined, very, very good footwork, but he's very, very smart. He plans his actions really well, right? I've seen many times, many bouts where, he's down, has a fairly substantial deficit, right? But he keeps calm. He's known for having a very, very calm temperament, being able to come back from those deficits because he thinks so well. He makes such good adjustments. So you can never count this guy out. I'm really excited for this bout. We have a clash of two very different styles, right? One where we have someone who's really, really planning to the T, versus O, who is just a monster physically on the strip.
1 minute on the board. Time between two valid touches reduced to 100 milliseconds. Tip or the edge of the blade can be landed for a point. Upper body above the waist, including the head. That is the target area.
And there we see them both go forward a little bit, but O just not quite ready to actually finish his attack. So we see Patrice just ready to tuck under his hand.
Look at our Dentsu blade tracking technology, which allows us to see the intricate movements of the blade.
And again, so you actually see Oh Song-uk's he's ready to charge forward with his feet, but he anticipates that Patrice is actually going to move back with him, so he's not ready to finish that attack, and so Patrice is able to finish in preparation.
En garde. Prêt. Allez.
Attack falls short for Sung-Uk. And you see those legs that are really, really good for I mean, like you saw, so what's called a flunge, right? It's where in Saber you're actually not allowed to cross your feet going forward because the attack is so powerful. You have to, maintain your front foot in front of your back foot. So when they do that jump, it's basically like a last-ditch effort, an all-in effort to basically try and hit the opponent. Was able to pull the distance, so he actually was able, so he made his opponent miss and then took the repost from there. And you see, it's so scary on those defensive moments. Defense is incredibly hard in Saber, right? Because you have such a big target, and because you're able to hit with any part of the blade, defense is very hard. So to have like that much confidence, like in standing your ground, that it's two reasons, right? One, he's that good at knowing how to pick up the parry, but two, he knows that his feet and his body, he's able to move so well that he doesn't have to give as much ground as other people do.
Both lights go off.
So there we see a rule adjustment that we actually see. In the World Fencing League, we're actually going to be a little bit more lenient on simultaneous touches. However, we might see the advantage arrow coming into play now. If they both go together again, the touch will go to O. Oh, actually, to Patrice. I'm sorry.
Essentially, it's like an advantage marker, and the arrow will oscillate back and forth.
You can see how close I was able to keep his distance. Philippe was able, Jean-Philippe was able to finish his attack there, right on the arm, which is a nice finish there. But he keeps the distance so close.
Explain to me the bounciness to Patrice in the footwork that he's putting out there.
A lot of that has to do with you want to maintain that forward motion in order to keep your right of way, but you want to stay moving fast without necessarily moving closer. So that jump in the air, what it allows you to do is it allows you to keep like high speed motion, but translate it up rather than forward, so you can actually like maintain a lot of power and speed without getting too close to your opponent. So it's a way to kind of deceive. It looks fast, but I'm not actually getting closer to you, right? So it's used as a way to confuse the opponent a little bit.
En garde. Prêt. Allez.
And again, we see that they both like kind of take that small step forward, and they're both looking, okay, what's my opponent going to do? But Patrice is just a little bit more ready to actually, get his hand in there. 5-2, halfway through the bout.
All three of the previous bouts won by Team Shield. Team Blade needs to get a bout win on the board.
Oh, has the attack there. But again, he's just a little bit like unsure of when he wants to actually finish. It's tough. So what I want to explain is, it's not so easy as just extending the arm and hitting, right? It's a balancing game that you have to play. You finish too early, and from too far, your opponent's able to easily take the parry and repost, right? You finish too late, then that's when that lockout timing comes into play, right? Because if I hold my arm back too long and I'm not ready to hit, my opponent can hit me and just lock me out, so I can't get my light on. So it's quite a delicate line that you have to walk. There we see, I think when Patrice actually moves with him at that speed, that's where O is most comfortable, because when you try to backpedal against O, he's just so fast that he's so confident. It's like, I've got you.
A full extension on the lunge as he advances.
En garde. Prêt. Allez.
Right at each other. They charge right at each other.
So we're gonna. He's.
Video, Mr. O.
So he's. So the referee called simultaneous. Again, this goes back to that rule change that we. So this is an adjustment for these fencers, right? The idea is those types in the middle calls, take a very, very trained eye to see, and that's part of the thing that that the league is trying to, make less of. And you can see the cheering for O. He's a huge fan favorite. I mean, this guy has a lot of fans because he's such an exciting fencer to watch.
After video review, decision is overruled. Attack. touch.
So always, so even with that more lenient simultaneous action being both people attacking at vaguely the same time, right? O is arguing my arm is enough further ahead that shouldn't be simultaneous, and the referee agrees after that challenge. So the touch will go to O.
Brett, alle.
And there we finish it. You get that long attack finishes right under the arm, and we're back within one.
Each fencer is allotted one challenge per bout.
One challenge, but if you get it right, you get it back. So basically one incorrect challenge. As soon as you get it wrong, you lose it.
Each fencer also gets one timeout, 60 seconds in length each per bout.
Brett, alle.
Attack for Patrice, and he gets it.
Attack.
So you see that he wants to back him up to the end, right? Because there is an end line, right? So if O were to go, if he moved his front foot back a little bit more at the end there, he would actually lose a touch, right? So there is like a boundary area, and so the more you back up your opponent all the way there, the more control and knowledge you have of, they can't move back anymore. Okay, so now I can finish because they're never gonna, pull me short or get away from my attack because they have nowhere to go.
And you would suspect they would have priority too.
Yeah, I mean, assuming they keep that attack, yes. So that's why you see him being very intelligently waiting until all the way at the end.
Attack.
There we see kind of that role reversal earlier. Previously we saw Patrice being the one that was ready to finish in the middle. There we see that flip, and O is just very, very ready right in the middle for that simple action. And you see how he swipes him right under the arm. The Dentsu tech coming in handy there.
Oh, that outside line?
He goes around the outside line. Yeah.
Brett, alle. Attack from right. Touch.
You see that, and now that one, they look like they kind of charged together, but because O's arm was further back when that happened, the attack, Patrice is more committed on the attack, so the attack goes to him.
So he gets it by way of the right-of-way. And again, there's some gray area to that decision.
That one, yeah, I mean, there is, but that one was, again, like we're being more lenient on the simultaneous, but that one was clear enough where, wow, that one is a really long chase and amazing defense from O. I mean, that long charge, super impressive for Patrice to actually, be able to get away from that attack. Not easy at all. You saw how fast they were going. But then when he takes over the attack, just catching him at a moment of hesitation, just reaching out his arm.
Timeout, Mr. O.
So O is going to call a timeout. Very close match.
We haven't had a situation yet out of any one of our bouts where we've been tied score-wise, hit-wise, after the time had run out, which would bring up a golden point. Could we potentially be seeing something here?
We could. I mean, I've been saying from the beginning, I would love to see one. I would absolutely love it. I mean, we in fencing, I think we always love a tiebreaker or something when it comes down to the wire, right?
Just to think how well things have been going so far for Team Shield. Their first 3 bouts, they won them. So Team Blade, they have to basically win the remainder of their bouts to then bring up a tiebreaker, the very best for them. If that happens, there's some details to get to that would then allow for the tiebreaker. But the Blade just need to win something here. And this is what I love about this experience is that the engagement, the entertaining fencing, but the engagement with the crowd, they feel like they're right in it.
Yeah. It's the excitement is it's palpable.
That's how you make new fans.
Yeah.
Brett, alle. Attack from right. Touch. Point.
So we see a little bit of hesitation on both sides, but Patrice was actually the one who ended up committing first. So touch to Patrice. Very short, limited amount of time now for 2 touches. But Saber moves quick. And a nice counterattack from Patrice. It is looking more and more like Team Shield is going to close this out.
Less than a second on the clock. I
mean, yeah, really nice touch by Patrice to kind of like, it's not react too early, right? We saw a little feint there from O. He did, he held his ground just long enough to get that counterattack on the second attempt.
Time.
Patrice, victorious. Winning over Osung Uk, 10-7, and the Shield have won the first 4 bouts. Officially are going to come out here with a little bit extra cash money because you got the individual winner here, Patrice getting $10,000, but then the other $40,000 of the $100,000, not counting the $60,000, $10,000 each for the 6 bouts. More to the winning team. Let's go to Kirsten.
You almost find a way to bounce back and find the win in this one, but what was it like hearing just the fans cheering for you and being so engaged?
팬들이 되게 환호해주고 이런 거에 부분에서 어떻게 생각하는지, 어땠는지 기분이?
일단 응원해줘서 고맙고 그리고 한국인으로서 여기 쓰는 것만 해도 너무 영광이었다고 전해주세요.
He's honored to be here, standing as a battle and about as a Korean, and he's grateful for your cheers and support.
Congratulations. All right, Jean-Philippe, let's give it up for him. Congratulations. Now, you have just picked up your first win here in the World Fencing League, but this was not an easy one. Tell me, what was it like going up against Senguk today?
I think he's one of the best, if not the best fencer right now. It's always a huge pleasure fencing against him. He's such an amazing athlete. He has won everything, and I have so much respect for him on the strip and off the track. So congratulations to him because that was a crazy bout.
For you, how did you find ways to attack him and win in this one?
It's never easy to attack or defend against O because he's such good on all the aspects of the fencing, So I had to push out my best fencing to try to win, and I did, so I'm really happy.
You did, and you have another win for Team Shield. Congratulations, Jean-Philippe, and you are taking home $10,000 as well. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone in the stands, for supporting us. You are amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
What just went down with men's Saber is that there was the red carpet walk-in before the start of this event, and there were so many kids wanting autographs from Patrice and all of these fencers. It's the connection that an event like this will give to fans that want them to come back.
Right, absolutely. And to have something like this when you are, a young fan, to be able to watch, in person or, on the broadcast, it's so exciting to see that, we have an outlet for these athletes to inspire, the next generation of fencers.
Women's Saber, men's foil, we still have to get to them. Miles Chamley-Watson, he'll be part of the finale against Ryan Choi. You're not going to want to miss that. World Fencing League taking flight from Los Angeles. So much more to get to from the Shrine Auditorium here in beautiful downtown Los Angeles. We'll be right back. Women's Saber is what is coming up next. 4 bouts in. The first 4 going to Team Shield. Team Blade has got to figure things out here. Maya Chamberlain of the United States will be facing off against the Italian Michaela Battiston, 7th in the world. She is part of the Italian Air Force, joined in 2017, a 2-time Olympian, and was so at Paris and Tokyo. Chamberlain, 14th in the world, finished 5th in Team Saber at the 2024 Paris Olympics.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a very, a very exciting bout. Both really, really strong fencers. We're going to start here introducing Maya Chamberlain. She is known as the Parry Queen, and that's in Saber. That is a really, really hard title to earn. So, an impressive nickname. One of the strongest fencers, if not, arguably, I think, many people would agree, especially in team, the strongest, women's sabers on the U.S. team right now. Unbelievably skilled. People like to joke that she has a magnet in her blade. She's that good at getting parries. I mean, this, and it's like I said, we've talked about it before in the last bout. Saber is a weapon where it's very, very hard to defend yourself. You've got a big target with a very fast-moving blade, where you don't have to hit with just the tip, right? So to be able to, get parries that consistently as part of your game makes it extremely impressive.
Extremely impressive would be Battiston and what she brings, winning her first Grand Prix at the end of 2025. That was a humongous achievement for her. And she discovered fencing when she was watching the 2004 Olympic Games in Athens. She was sitting on the couch with her father and said, you know what? I want to give this a try.
Yeah. It's, I mean, it's in Italy. Like, Italy is one of the strongest countries historically in fencing, right? They just, it's truly impressive because they, obviously have, it's a, by population, smaller country than the U.S., but the quality they put out is really, really notable, and they have for so many years. I mean, it's one of the birthplaces of fencing. So they, they know how to do this sport. The Italians are strong in every weapon, but Michaela Battiston, really, really coming up. Like you said, she was coming off that recent World Cup win. Extremely impressive result, right? Anyone who gets that under their belt, a World Cup win, I mean, that's not something to understate how impressive and how big of a milestone that is. She's known for her comebacks. She's a high rhythm, high feel fencer, right? So she uses her distance and timing extremely well. She said she's just that natural instinct and feeling is it's really, really powerful for her. So we've got kind of, again, a little bit of a difference of styles here.
They'll put 1 minute on the clock. Target area again, upper body along with the head. And the uniqueness of this is that you can use the tip or the edge of the blade to register a hit.
Oh, nice finish there from Battiston.
Attack from light. Touch. Point.
(2-0 for Battiston. Start off.
On garde, prêt. Allez.
And a nice attempt from Maya Chamberlain for that jump parry with the repost. I mean, would have been a really, really nice touch to get. She's just, we actually saw that Battiston's tip just able to sneak in under in time. So that lockout timing just a little bit too short for Maya to get her repost. And a nice attack there for Chamberlain.
And that lockout time for Saber reduced to 100 milliseconds.
It's short. It's very short. Saw that finish to the belly after Battiston takes that sweep in 6. And a nice, there we go. There's the repost. And you can see how ready, Maya Chamberlain is in the middle, right? She's not consistently always going for that attack right off the bat because she's really, really confident that, she doesn't necessarily have to go for those. She can go for the parry, which is so hard for so many other people to say.
Chamberlain, a 3-time All-American at Princeton, was the NCAA champ in 2018.
You saw Chamberlain had the right idea there, just barely got snagged on the arm, so wasn't able to make that repost, but the planning was right.
On garde, prêt. Allez.
And there, just so Battiston like pushing, ready to finish, but just a little bit too late, right? Again, we talked about it in the last bout. That kind of delicate line that you have to walk, right? If I finish too simple and too early, too easy for my opponent to parry. But if I take just a little bit too long, I make it just a little bit too complicated. That gives my opponent that opening to to take it before I'm ready to hit. So we see that stop hit here, right there.
So in essence, there's the direct attacks. There's also the compound attacks too.
Yep.
Attack from right. No. Attack from left. Touch. Point.
Chamberlain with the repost there to make it 4-4. Back even.
The
15 seconds into the bout.
Really soaking this one up. The intensity and the magnitude of this matchup.
And there, one of the I want to talk about this. One of the actual strengths of being so strong at pairing, as Chamberlain is it makes people you mentioned it before, compound attacks, right? If I know my opponent is really good at parrying, that means I have to be careful and ready for it, right? So I'm going to make sure I go around the parries, but that makes me not ready to actually hit, right? So that opens up the opportunity for Chamberlain to get the remise, which we saw there, right? So that strength that she has in the parries opens up other opportunities for her. And there we see a nice long attack for her too. Up 6-4.
Going all the way into the Italians' end.
For the right fence.
Dictating the tempo.
And there we see actually Battiston hitting first, but Chamberlain was able to finish it just in time. See, first hit, but then Chamberlain was able to finish.
Because of the
lockout timing, she just barely made it in time.
Barely got it in time.
So we're having a timeout now. I mean, Chamberlain's already made some really, really nice adjustments. So we an early lead for Battiston, right? Making some good decisions in the middle. Chamberlain, I think she was, she knew what she wanted to do, but part of it's just, not necessarily that you need to change your plan entirely, right? It's not that your strategy isn't working, but am I anticipating the action happening at the exact moment that did I plan for it at that exact moment? Because you can parry and have been the right choice, but if you do it a half a second too early or a fraction of a second too late, right? It still didn't work, right? So it's not just did I plan for the right action, it's did I time it exactly right? So I think those are some of the changes that she's actually made really, really well.
40 seconds or so left on the clock. This is bout number 5. Charging at each other, and both lights pop up.
Yeah, so this is one that...
Did she say she wants to see video of that?
She wants to call for it. She wants to challenge it, yeah. So this is, I mean, part of the tricky thing about, what's going on here is... I think in a non-World Fencing League bout, she's really, really onto something. But it's knowing, how much, because the referees are changing the way that they're calling this. What they want is, you saw there how, you tell me, was that hard to determine?
It was very hard to
Exactly.
determine.
That's what we want to do away with, right? We want to make it so that instead of having to, the ref having to make a very, very tough decision on something that's objectively really, really minuscule, right? We want to reduce the amount of times that's happening, which is where the advantage, marker comes in, right? So if you go simultaneous again, it's just going to go to one person.
I want to check video.
So the referees, it's a close call again. And now, so the first time's a warning, right? So there's no touch on the last one. If he decides it was simultaneous again, the priority marker that we see in Maya's favor, right, will come into play. So if the referee decides it was a simultaneous action again, in this case he decides it was actually attack for Maya, so priority not a factor, but that's just an explanation of what could have happened.
Which is a WFL new rule, as that call, you think about it, the first one doesn't count as a point, but the simultaneous second action would then lead to 1 point, and then you would go back and forth with that advantage marker. It flips from, it's basically like in basketball, like a possession arrow.
Yeah.
Ali.
Wow. So we actually see Maya fall short on her attack, which is, again, really dangerous in Saber. You know, because the attack is so strong, when you fall short, for so many people, it feels like, oh man, I'm done for, right? But because you see she's so ready for that parry, like, you know, that she's so dangerous with the counter parry, right? You saw Batiston like holding her arm because she doesn't want to get parried, but then that opens up that remise opportunity for Maya, which she's so good at capturing on. And as a reminder, the remise being, you know, the action that you make after your first failed attack.
Attack from right.
So a failed repost for Maya Chamberlain, and, you know, Michaela Batiston taking the action after that. See there, swing and a miss from Maya, and then Batiston able to hit it afterwards. But I mean, it's a nice attempt from Maya to duck and try to get herself out of the way of that touch.
Attack from left. Touch. Point.
Another attack from the left for Maya. 9-5 halfway through the bout. I mean, this is a very high scoring bout already. We're only halfway through this bout, and to be at 9-5. We could see an over 20 touch bout here. Remise again for Chamberlain. We're seeing that blade work is it's coming in so handy for her.
And she's just pushing up and putting Batiston in a place where there's not really that many options. You're stuck at the very end of the strip.
Yeah. It's a dangerous place to be, for sure. You never want to be in a position where someone knows, you know, like you're more predictable, right? When you're at the end of the strip, you have reduced the options that you have, and that always limits you as a fencer. Nice. Oh, beautiful touch. That's what's called a skyhook, right? It's a really, really hard touch to execute. What we see is like she pulls her body away to get to evade the blade of her opponent, and then lifts her arm up so she doesn't get hit on the way. You see it here, and she catches her opponent's arm on the way in. It's a very, very hard touch to execute, but beautifully done there.
Further highlighted by the blade tracing technology.
Yeah.
It allows you to really get an added appreciation for what these athletes go through to get touches.
And the attack there from Maya, she's just, you know, barely a little bit too hesitant to finish the attack, so the counterattack goes to Batiston. So making it 6-11 for her now. See that there? You make your action a little bit too complex, a little bit too long to finish. It can bite you.
Attack from left. No. Attack from right. Touch.
So what we saw there, it was Maya actually had the initial attack. She makes a swipe, and it's very hard to see, but she actually doesn't hit the first one, and she just barely hits right after that first swing goes. So the attack goes to Batiston.
On guard. Pray. Ali. Ali.
Had the right away.
Attack.
Did Chamberlain.
Attack from right. Touch.
She misses again. She misses that first action. So she takes her first swing, right? So when you have the attack, you're moving forward. You know. But if you make that attempt and you lose and you miss it, right? The right of way goes to your opponent now.
So initially she was on her front foot, moving forward.
But because she missed that first attempt, the right of way goes to Batiston. See the right of way going to Chamberlain now. But she finishes at that time.
Attack from left. Touch. Point.
Extends the lead by another one, 12-8.
When you've got the blade out like this.
Yeah, except fully extended, yeah.
The intentions of that.
It's you're maximizing your reach, right? And so basically, you've really committed to, like, I've got this distance exactly, right? And I'm just kind of get as much possible reach as I can, and even just trying to, push that hand just a little bit further, right?
On guard, pray. Ali.
And there we saw, actually, so
attack from right.
The Italian Battiston actually was able to capitalize on the moment, right? She saw the hesitation from Chamberlain and she took over, but again, with just a little bit too long to finish the action. So she basically, she has right away, but she isn't able to actually hit in time, and so Maya comes out with a touch again. It's those it's that balancing game that she's just not playing quite right here. Again, just a little bit too complicated. She's looking. She thinks that her opponent's going to, run further away, but Maya stands her ground, and she's just a little bit late hitting.
When it's too complicated, it takes too much time.
Exactly. Yeah. So when we refer to like a complex attack, it means we're trying to avoid being parried, right?
I love the fiery emotion from Chamberlain. Nobody is loving this experience more than she is right now.
Yeah, she's looking poised to put the first win on the board for Team Blade.
Shield won the first 4 bouts.
Oh, very nice repost from Battiston there.
Repost from right. Touch. Point.
15-9, 6 seconds left.
I feel like a lot of people know who that guy is on the right.
Yeah.
Lewis Hamilton is in the house. He's a really good friend of our founder.
Yep, Miles Chandler Watson. There, nice finish from Maya Chamberlain. Extending that lead. 3 seconds left. She's all but closed it out now.
On garde, prêt. Allez.
Nice duck there. A showman's touch on for one of the last ones. Just like ducking to avoid being hit by the blade, right? Just so her opponent just misses her completely.
On garde, prêt. Allez.
And time up.
It is all over. Maya Chamberlain
taking a win for Team Blade. Very impressive. I think it was such a strong showcase of her skill set as a fencer. Just really well fenced there. I mean, a great bout from Battiston as well, but really exciting. Super high scoring bout too. Our first bout to actually get above 15 touches.
Started fencing Chamberlain when she was 9 years old. Down to Kirsten.
Obviously, this was a tough battle going up against Maya, but you guys have fought each other in the past. What was it like doing it, though, just on this stage?
Well, it's completely different, of course, with these new rules, but I had fun anyway. It doesn't depend about the result, so it's okay, I have fun. Thank you, everybody.
And the energy in here was electric, wasn't it?
Yes, it was really, really amazing.
Michaela, thank you so much. All right, Maya, I'm coming on over to you. Congratulations, you here. Listen to this. The fans are cheering your name. What is it like just being here competing on this World Fencing League stage?
It means the world, seriously. I'm from California. I have some friends from California here with me. So it means so much for all of your support. Thank you so much.
Your energy was electric all throughout the entire bout. But tell me, you were behind early in this one. How did you battle back to pick up this win?
Goldfish brain. I don't remember being behind.
There you go.
Yes. 1 point at a time, always. 1 point at a time.
1 point at a time, and you guys have picked up a win for Team Blade, but you're also going home with $10,000. So Maya, there you go. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Men's foil, the founder of World Fencing League, Miles Chamley Watson, will face off on the strip against Ryan Choi. Stay with us. The sixth and final bout as part of the inaugural World Fencing League event here in Los Angeles features the WFL founder, Miles Chanley Watson, the three-time Olympian, 2016 Team Olympic bronze medalist. He will be facing Ryan Choi, #1 in the world. This is men's foil. He is out of Hong Kong, made history in 2025 as Hong Kong's first fencing world champion.
I mean, this is an incredible matchup. This is one of the ones I've been waiting for the most. This is my weapon that I used to fence. I've known Miles for a long time. He is a legend in men's foil fencing, right? This guy, he was the first American man to be world champion, right? He made history for U.S. men's fencing. So I'm, super excited to see him here. He is one of the flashiest, one of the most entertaining people to watch. There's a reason that he's as well known and has as many fans as he does. He goes for crazy touches. He can hit from all kinds of angles. He's got serious reach, but he knows how to use it in such a dynamic way. He hits from, he just hits things that other people aren't physically capable of, and that's what makes him so special and entertaining as a fencer. And I mean, there's a reason it's Showtime's is his nickname. He's a showman. And now we go to Ryan Choi, who is just on a tear right now. I mean, he is so good right now. I mean, he's been good for a long time, but truly on top of the world. He is #1 ranked in the world right now. So, I mean, this is going to be like a seriously entertaining match. They're both, Ryan Choi is crazy fast. He doesn't have quite the same reach as Miles, but he's still quite tall. Left-handed, right? But like doesn't fence. He fences so dynamically, athletically, and with so much flair that you almost he doesn't use any typical things that you would see that make him difficult to fence as a lefty. He hits all kinds of targets. He's tricky. He baits. Does a lot of baiting actions. Right. Both of these people are going to. I think this is going to be a highest-scoring bout just because of how much energy that both of these people bring to each and every touch.
I love what Ryan said to a news publication not too long ago. Lewis Hamilton, he is watching in awe in the spotlight. F1 world champ in the house, Sir Lewis Hamilton, to be completely frank with you. But Ryan Choi told a publication that World Fencing League is a huge step forward for the sport, because in his mind, this is beyond just fencing. 2 minutes on the board for men's foil.
And then you see how fast these guys get at it, right? So we actually saw that, remember, so I know it's been a little while since we had our first foil bout, but remember, off targets don't register anything. So we actually saw Ryan, I think, what looked like he hit off target first, but Miles quick with the reaction, right? He knows nothing hit, and he's right behind the back. And that's, for touch one, we already get a touch like that.
Not that we would necessarily need it, but the passivity timer, 45 seconds.
Infighting touch, so Ryan Choi able to get the first one. I think what's interesting is how many touches are actually getting to infighting now with some of these rule changes. But it's fun because infighting is actually one of the more entertaining things to watch in foil.
First 4 bouts went to Team Shield, Origo, Kano, Muhari, Patrice, and then Chamberlain won women's Saber for Team Blade. So 4-1 in the overall team tally.
Remise from the left to the right touch. Point.
Okay. So we saw a little bit of exchange. Like what you see there is that, if one person misses and then another person misses, there's kind of a turn taking that happens there. So when that last action hit, Miles was the one who had right of way in that action. So touch goes to Miles.
The target for foil is torso only, chest, back, groin area. And it's just the tip
and we
of
see
the blade.
I mean, that defense there is what kind of put Miles it makes him such a scary fencer. He uses his reach so well, but he's able to he has such a strong hand to go. You see how fast his blade's moving there. It's really hard to enter that defense, right? And then as soon as Ryan Choi's fast, he enters it, but he enters it just a little bit too quickly, right? And he's on the outside line and unable to hit where Miles is able to take the repost.
Out. Attack. No.
Just a little bit too complicated for Miles, right? He's looking for a target just a little bit too long. Ryan Choi sees it and capitalizes with the counterattack.
En garde. Prêt. Allez. Alt.
And a remise there from Miles.
Attack.
It's what's so also I should say another impressive thing about Miles is he's got he's a big guy, super tall, but surprisingly good at making himself hard to hit. I mean, you see it there. He can crouch. He's really making it difficult for Ryan Choi to actually find a target for him.
En garde.
3-2 for Miles.
Allez. Alt.
Nice beat attack there from Choi.
The flexibility from Chamley Watson did the splits there.
He does that a lot. You'd be surprised. No, really nice touch from Choi. I mean, like he's you can see how he's adjusting there because he knows that Miles' defense is scary, right? He doesn't want to go absence a blade or without taking the blade, so he takes it on the way in, and then that's how he's able to get the touch. But Miles again, he counters that, right? So Ryan Choi is going for a similar action. He's sweeping the blade on the way in to protect himself as he gets close. Miles sees it coming and goes right around it. So you see here, he just avoids that blade and just takes that opportunity.
His teammates are looking on. Kiefer in the middle. I think she noticed that the camera was on her for just a second.
And there we see Miles, one of the original, really showy fencers, right? He's known how to get a crowd going for longer than almost anybody. So the ref's going to review that call.
So they're going to review it. Chamley Watson, this was an idea that he started to really ponder. The creation of World Fencing League back in 2024 had some really enriching conversations. 2025, late in the year, they announced it, and then all of the time and energy in the months afterwards to book this location, to get it here. He's performing on a grand stage, but the amount of work he had to put in to make this happen is something of note, too.
The touch goes to Miles. So the original action, Choi ends up, he's attacking first, but he ends up missing. And Miles is able to kind of, just take his time enough to get that repost on. An attack for Miles. Miles is on fire right now. He's fencing really well.
Point.
And you see, I mean, like for someone his height, how well he moves. I mean, this is the kind of Miles that makes him like really scary in World Championship caliber, right? I mean, when you have that kind of height mixed with that kind of dynamic movement and hand speed, I mean, it's very tough. And there we see, there's a platform there, right? So Miles is aware as he knows he's going off, so he's got to make sure he's not gonna tumble on the way down. So good eye on him. So the referee stops it, no touch there. The referee could also tell that Miles is, bracing himself so that he didn't fall on the way down. Halfway through the bout, 6-3 for Miles.
This is the last line. Yes. En garde. Prêt. Allez.
There we see some infighting, no one touching yet. There it goes to Ryan. Looks like it's going to go to Ryan Choi. He had the, we'll see what the referee calls. But a nice, like you see how acrobatic both of these guys are. I mean, both of them not afraid to put themselves into, uncomfortable positions to get the touch.
They are loving this opportunity to play up in front of the crowd.
Attack.
Nice attack from Ryan Choi. I mean, like jumping in, he actually, I think he was expecting Miles to go backwards. Miles saw that and held his ground, but Ryan Choi quickly able to adjust and change course for the change in situation and actually just hit that shoulder. You see how small of a target that is. He actually had to, kind of do that flicking action that I mentioned earlier in order to hit that target.
Okay.
So crazy fast reaction time for him to get that. And just barely, Miles using those legs to his advantage. And, I said it before. Ryan Choi is not an easy person to get away from. He's so fast on his legs, but Miles, he's doing an incredible job of making sure he's defending himself on the way out and using that reach.
As he's defending, it looks like he's searching, looking, and trying to find the blade.
Yeah. So it serves two purposes, right? If you enter his guard, he'll take the parry and he'll take the repost, right? But if you try to avoid it, you're now in that same situation where your blade's really far to hit and the stop hit is more available for you. There we see the remise for Ryan Choi hit. He misses that first one, but Miles kind of loses his blade on the way. So Ryan Choi takes the remise to bring it within 6-7. All right, so with a minute 15. I'm sorry I said that out loud.
We haven't had any one of the first 5 bouts a situation where we've had to have a golden point, which is basically when the time is over and it's a tie score that we would need one more golden point, sudden death point.
Yep. And there we see them both go together. Miles just barely missing. Ryan Choi getting the touch, so bring it with 7-7. Close match. I hope we can bring it to that golden point. I really do.
It would be some beautiful theater if it would be that 6th and final bout. You know who would love to see that? Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah. Oh, and there we see the action that Miles that was named after him. Right? He invented that touch where he actually goes behind his own neck to hit someone that's actually behind his back. He invented that touch. He calls it the Chamley-Watson. It's been called that since. He doesn't hit it, but he ends up hitting the next action anyways.
I remember reading about that, and the referee at the time when that happened went to look at it, and because it hadn't been happening before, he's like, what is this? Well, it didn't break any rules, so I guess we got to allow that.
Yeah.
That's okay.
And the thing is, it's only really possible for someone, I physically couldn't do it. My arms aren't long enough to reach around my head like that. So it takes a combination of someone uniquely creative, skilled, and tall as Miles to be able to execute something like that. And now he extends his lead a little bit further. A man of the crowd. You can see Ryan Choi with his flashy touches as well. Both of these guys are just such entertaining fencers to watch.
On guard. Okay.
Less than a minute left. Halfway through. Remise from Miles.
Touch. Point.
Miles is doing really well in infighting too. This is these are hard touches to get, and he's getting them pretty quickly. We're going to call a timeout. Have a minute break for both fencers to get a little bit of a reset to think about what they want to adjust.
What makes good touches happen, even as hard as they might be, when you are in a situation where you are infighting?
Yeah, it's just so much reaction. It's practice, right? These are things that because they're happening so fast that you just don't have the ability to take aim the way you normally would think that you have to, right? It's not like, okay, let me analyze the situation and find a target, take my time, right? It doesn't work like that. You have we're dealing with, again, that lockout timing is really, really fast. So you're in a rush to complete that touch. So you have to hit a target that's incredibly difficult to hit very quickly.
That is what they're gunning for.
An impressive trophy. That is cool.
Although technically, because Team Shield has already won 4 bouts.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether Miles Chamley-Watson wins or not, Team Shield will be the team champs.
I think a lot of people would still like to see that. He's a crowd favorite. Ryan Choi has a lot of fans too, so I think everyone's on the edge of their seat to see how this bout's going to finish. We've still got a lot of time.
Point.
And there's also the individual component. The winner of this bout will take home $10,000.
I wouldn't say no to that. Yeah.
Not at all. And there's $100,000 in total prize money.
On guard.
A nice behind the back touch we saw there with the Dentsu Tech. Repost for Miles. He misses it just barely, so Ryan Choi able to get that last touch. Bring it within 1 again.
On guard.
About 45 seconds left.
Okay. Ali.
There, that nice. Those are hard, really hard to know what what decisions to make, right? You see kind of Ryan Choi almost letting his guard down, right? And he looks like he's letting himself be vulnerable. He's doing what's called an invitation, right? He's making you think that I'm vulnerable and wanting you to come in on him so he can take the blade and then use that as an opportunity to hit. 10-10 now.
All tied up here. do you think about this strategy here for Janley Watson, who picks up the touch?
So smart by him. I mean, because we see this kind of like this back and forth pattern of like, how am I going to break into that distance of Miles? Ryan Choi's using the beat or trying to take the blade on the way in, but Miles he's anticipating it, right? And we saw him again go around that parry and just take that opportunity to hit right away. See him have a point line there. Ryan Choi goes for the blade. Miles takes the opening. Do we have another timeout?
Each fencer is awarded one timeout, 60 seconds in length per bout. This might be my favorite vantage point, just because to be able to live in the headspace, and in this angle too.
Yeah.
But you as say a casual fencing fan who will check in during Olympic season and watch fencing, to be able to see the blade movements when traditional consumption of Olympic fencing broadcasting, you can't see that.
Yeah.
It makes the experience more educational and pleasurable because you know what's going on.
Yeah, you're not just getting an outside 2D view. You're really being able to see it from so many different angles. One of the other things I think is notable about this, and you can see like on these breaks, the whole team rallying around like one person. Right? This is unusual for us as fencers, right? Like I said before, we have usually one coach, in our corner, and now you have your whole team of 5 other people that are there, kind of like pushing you and giving you support. It's got to feel incredible, right? It's just a feeling that's new to all of them.
I think because it can be an individual sport. There's a loneliness to it when you feel such a competitive pressure.
Absolutely.
So this is quite the respite from that, and credit to Janley Watson for delivering what we are getting a chance to see here with World Fencing League and making this happen. And he's up 11-10.
Yeah, and he's going to call for a video review there, so he doesn't agree with the last touch. But absolutely to your point. I mean, it brings together like this side, this connection to your team element. Like you said, it's so much individual in this sport, and so to bring a team that of 6 people, which doesn't happen in this sport, right? The team matches that we do have, they're teams of 4 all on the same weapon. So to bring together 6 people of different weapons, right? You've never spent this this kind of time and had a team effort, right? It's such an enjoyable experience as a fencer to be able to fence on a team like that.
Yes.
So the touch will stand. We're going 11-11, 22 seconds left.
On guard.
It's only fitting that this one is as drama
filled. Wow. That was, I hope we get a replay of that, because that was a crazy touch. Miles doesn't agree, but what happened was like we see like Choi kind of like take a big action, but he ends up hitting around around his head, behind his back there on the first action. Miles doesn't agree that was his first attempt, so which is why he thinks it should be his. I want to see, it's a close call, but Miles is now out of replays, so the touch stands.
Each fencer only gets one challenge per bout.
He used it the last touch.
And if you use it, you can't. Only if you win it, you get to keep it.
Yeah. 12-12 now.
But he comes right back and responds.
17 seconds left. This is a close one. Nice touch. I mean, just perfect distance there. Like really a good eye from Miles to be able to know exactly how close he needs to be to hit. Repost. Miles had it. You see, he had the parry, but Ryan Choi just so fast to close the distance and make it. So Miles didn't actually judge where that repost should land properly. So Choi with the remise. And then we see another attack, a blazing attack there.
I will check the video on my own.
The referee's going to check the video to see, to make sure. I mean, a lot of fast actions. We had a pass involved, so he's going to make sure that he saw the action right before he calls it.
On guard.
But you can see the kind of, absolute, high risk fencer that Choi is with those types of actions.
It's a verbal warning. On guard. Fair. Ali. Attack. Touch.
And Miles. Both go together. Miles with the one light.
On guard. Fair. Ali.
14-12 for Choi.
Attack.
Oh.
No. Counter
Misses.
Touch.
He had the pressure on to Choi. he found the moment right, but just he didn't know exactly where the target was going to be there. And Choi able to kind of like displace his target. You see him kind of turn his body just to ensure that Miles misses that target.
Evades the blade and then comes right back. Falling back towards his end.
And the simple attack from Ryan Choi.
Point.
Extending his lead. 5 seconds left with a 4-touch deficit. So Ryan Choi in a very comfortable lead.
On guard. Fait. Allez.
And a nice finish from Miles with a buzzer beater.
Point.
13-16.
On guard. Fait. Allez. Alt.
And time.
Ryan Choi perseveres. Claims it in the men's foil event.
World number one. I mean, like, and the legend Miles, like, giving us an absolute show. I mean, that was the entertaining bout that we all wanted. That was such a show.
Kirsten has Miles.
Miles, I want to start with you because this is an incredibly special evening, and it truly is all because of you. For you to compete with this World Fencing League, going up against Ryan Choi, just first tell me how special. We heard Miles talking about how special this is. What is it like for you, though?
Everyone, once again, a big clap for Miles, because without him, there would not be. Yeah.
Earlier you told me just being able to compete on this stage in front of these fans, was this a dream come true for you?
For sure, because normally competitions don't have that much audience, and today it's a breakthrough for fencing, and everyone is coming to win for the money, but most importantly, a revolution. New rules, new faces, and hopefully a game changer. Yeah.
And Ryan, you are taking home $10,000, and a big congratulations to Team Shield. So congrats, Ryan.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, thank you. Oh, and thank you to my teammate. Thank you.
Done. Miles, Chanley Watson, and Ryan Choi, our sixth and final bout of this inaugural World Fencing League event from Los Angeles. Ryan Choi winning it. Miles might not have won that bout, but in the end, he was the ultimate winner. The sport is the ultimate winner because of what he did tonight, the lead up. He won over the hearts of sports fans and fencing faithful alike by the energy, the build-up in making this event possible.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he made it happen for all of us. That he had a dream, one that we all shared, and he was able to make it happen. We're all incredibly happy that he was successful in that dream. I'm happy to be here. We both had a lot of fun today. It was a great show, a great crowd. I couldn't be happier with how this whole thing turned out.
Sold out. Celebrities, everything you could have ever imagined happened, and I don't think we can say this enough. And this is David Willett. I'm Brian Fenley, the four-time first-team NCAA All-American, World Cup Junior champ, and competed at Penn State. And I'm Brian Fenley. Is the ability for this to just be the start. This is just the start, and the reaction, the smiles, the charisma that each one of these athletes had post-bout, they want this to continue. I love the word revolution. With that, we're going to get more from David in a moment, but let's go down to Sibley, who has more.
Back the athletes to the stage. The moment has arrived for your attention on stage as we welcome both teams back who have been fighting for tonight for the official World Fencing League trophy. To my left, the Champions Crystal. Please welcome back to the stage the teams. They have battled it out fiercely this evening to be crowned the first World Fencing League champions. Firstly, Team Blade. Team Shield. And now it is time to crown our champions. Please welcome to the stage to present the Champions Crystal, four-time Olympian, two-time Olympic silver medalist, including Japan's first ever medal in fencing, a former world champion, now Secretary General of the Japanese Olympic Committee, and member of the IOC Athletes Commission. Give it up for Yuki Ota. It is now time to crown the very first World Fencing League champions here at the Shrine in Los Angeles, represented by Ariana Arrigo, Koki Kano, Esther Muhari, Jean-Philippe Patrice, Michaela Batistone, and Team Captain Ryan Choi. Your inaugural World Fencing League champions, Team Shield.
Team Shield, congratulations! What an honor of you guys lifting up this trophy. Tell me, how special is this for this team right now?
That's crazy. The event was crazy from the beginning to the end, with so many legends of the sport. So happy to win this trophy with the team. Hopefully there will be a rematch, because all the bouts were so intense, and we definitely loved it.
How would you describe the energy that was here and also in these bouts tonight?
I think for all of us, it was something crazy, so many energy. Thanks again to the crowd, to the people out there to support us, to cheer for us. That was definitely so meaningful for us. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And I know you guys want more of this, so let's give it up for Team Shield. And I'm going to come over here to you, Miles, because you've seen, I'm going to sneak in here right here. You've seen the energy here tonight. You obviously heard from Team Shield. To witness this, how do you put this to words?
It's pretty surreal, but I couldn't, ask for a better team, a better opponent, a better audience. You guys made it amazing for us to fence here. It was really, really incredible. We felt like it was back at the Olympic Games, or maybe even better. But we'll see you all very, very, very soon. This is just the beginning. So thank you all so, so much for this.
This is truly just the beginning. Team Blade, congratulations on everything today and for this experience. Let's give it up one more time for Team Shield, your winners of the inaugural World Fencing League.
Back inside the studio, David Willett, the former men's superstar in college, I got to say, and beyond, of foil, and the four-time first-team All-American NCAA, competing at Penn State, the Junior World Cup champ. I'm Brian Fenley. This was a night that was so much more than the results of what took place. Miles Chamberlain-Watson had a vision. He made this possible. He said just moments ago that this is just the beginning with World Fencing League, and it only is just the beginning. But what we're going to remember is the fans, this bite-size, like digestible type of fencing that is easier to understand, that the mainstream will love. And talking to fencers like yourself, they want to know that the sport is in better hands for the next generation. So this is an act of love that Miles is giving the sport and everybody who's showing up for this.
Yeah, I mean, he's said it for a long time. You know, his motto has been create a moment and not create a legacy, not a moment, right? And he's doing that now, right? And it's so exciting because you mentioned it earlier, you know, being able to actually have a viable way to pursue fencing as a dream professionally is something that, you know, wasn't available to me, and that's one of the reasons I had to retire. So to see this be an option, you know, an option for fencers to come, it's just so tremendous to see.
In the end, $100,000 was given up to these athletes. $40,000 was given to Team Shield as they were the winning team, and Team Blade winning one of the 6 bouts, but each winning bout, $10,000 as well. We wrap things up here from Los Angeles in what was a splendid event, a full house, celebrities in tow, and a great crew as well to see this new generation of fencing take center stage. And as Miles mentioned, this is only the beginning. And one of the things he also mentioned was, as he said today, and as he said on social media yesterday, this is an event that will change fencing forever. Alongside our great crew and the 4-time NCAA first-team All-American and former men's foilist David Willett, I'm Brian Fenley. We will be saying goodnight from Los Angeles in Shrine Auditorium for the inaugural triumphant beginning of World Fencing League. And for what is next, you're going to want to check out social media. Follow all the socials, World Fencing League, TikTok, X, Instagram, you name it, for that next event. You will want to be the first to know when that comes up. We'll talk to you then.
Don't you ever show you scared.